Good morning. Warm welcome to our audience. This is Sai Krishna Snikar, currently pursuing post-graduation diploma in general management at XLRI Jamshedpur. We have a podcast with the esteemed guest, Mr. Guruprasanna Marimuthu. Sir, let's dive into our questions of podcast.
Sure.
So my first question is asking you about your journey from TCS to Aptiv in terms of AI.
Yeah, sure. So, first, let me also tell you how I actually came into AI itself in the first place. I did not start with AI. I started in very different technology mainframes. That's where my career started. TCS provided me the opportunity to actually change. So, I was actually captivated by some of the brilliant statisticians around the world, and one of them was Nate Silver, who used to predict US election results. And I was wondering, how can somebody predict the future? And that was my entry point into AI, in a manner of speaking. And when I wanted to break into AI, so I went through all the Coursera courses, whatever I could lay my hands on. And then I spent a couple of years learning things, but still was not finding an opportunity. But then my employer, TCS at that point of time, allowed me to shift, even though I was like several years experienced into one. They gave me that opportunity to shift to a very new technology, which was, at least I was new to that, right? And that was the starting point of my career in AI. And since then, I've been very fortunate to like get access to new tech tools. When Gen AI came about, I got access through with our partners Google, the new LLMs, what they had to play with it, to test it, and then to come up with solutions. So being at the right place at the right time did help me. And then finally, I had this opportunity to move from TCS to another organization where I'll be focused on Gen AI. So that also helped my career. As and when Gen AI and Agentic AI started coming, I had that opportunity to try out and create solutions out of it.
Yes, sir. I understand that you came from mainframe to AI. So, how this transformation work, and like what made you interest in AI?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, what made me interested in AI is the possibilities what the AI provided. That machine learning can predict things or can do things which seems like intelligence, right? And the other part of the question was, how do I?
What made you interested?
What made me interested to that, right? Yeah. So from mainframe itself, right? So at that point of time, I did not choose mainframe, but then it's a very good technology. I'm very grateful. It paid my bills and all that for a while and all that. But then my heart was somewhere else, and I thought I'll be happy doing AI. That was the motivation was not that I did not do a research kind of thing to come up with. Okay, so AI is where the future is headed. So probably it is more from a monetary standpoint. The benefits will be more. I did not do that. So that just interested me more. I thought it would be a lot more fun working on it rather than doing something else. So that is what led me to AI actually. Yeah, it's quite good, sir. So, the next question is, what are your AI strategies developing the prototypes to full scale production, especially in the cloud and edge environment? Yeah, sure. So each has its own challenges. Cloud has its own challenges. Edge has its own challenges. So, but more importantly, there is a study which says 95% of proof of concepts never make it to production. That number only keeps going up. Earlier it was like around 80, 85. Now it is 95. So the reasons for that is what I was discussing in the previous panel discussion as well. Just to quickly summarize it, there could be technical reasons. There could also be business reasons, and business reasons run much more deeper. Technical reasons include lack of a proper ML ops or LLM ops or governance mechanism. But then the business reasons, which I said, run deeper, right? So the use case or the POC itself could have been started without a proper understanding of what is the return on investment going to be, whether the problem statement is even worth solving in the first place. So this is where students like you and the frameworks what you learn, right? So that could come in handy, and you could keep a check on engineers to do the right thing in terms of proof of concepts. So are we asking, okay, so what is the customer, who's the customer that we are serving, and what is the exact pain point we are solving, and are we doing that at a price point that differentiates us? So that applies to AI proof of concepts as well. Yeah, based on your conversation, I got to know the Porter's five forces related to customers, sure, developing a product. Sure. So, as you mentioned, there are some few challenges which you had faced in AI and cloud. So, can you share some challenges which you had faced and how did you overcome them? Sure. So, Some of the biggest challenges include the uncertainty also that comes with a technology like generative AI. Right? There's no, it is not deterministic. There's no guarantee that it will work. And also, how do you convince senior leaders about the viability of it? And sometimes, how do you set the right expectations to them? So it is not like developing a website that you deploy X number of people to work on it and then the problem will get solved. So it is not that. There is it may work. There is also a strong R&D element involved here. You have to research. It might work. You have to try it out. There is an experimentation angle involved here. So it's all about how can you fail fast, how can you pivot, and how can you move. And you need to convince executive leaders that sometimes things may not always work, but then it was worth. It is still worth trying to invest in the future on a very experimental technology. And on the other side, you have developers who are working with you passionately, and they might get demotivated if it doesn't work as well, right? So those are challenges that there are no easy solutions to this. To be honest, it's about how can you your people skills come in, how can you motivate people that the time that was spent even on a failure POC was definitely worth it. How can you convince them that that was a stepping stone to something bigger? So these were some of the challenges that I love to tackle every day in my job. But having said that, there's no thumb rule or fixed approach that this will always work.
Yeah, it's quite interesting approach, sir. So, coming to the next question, considering the whole MBA persons, engineers, and every person around the world, so the quite challenge we are here facing is AI. How do you see how do you feel the impact of AI in the future generation in terms of development, automation in the job market, any kind of thing?
Sure. AI will definitely disrupt the job market. It's not, I mean, every time we have spoken about a previous technology wave, it has always led to probably destruction of jobs in certain things. So you start right from the steam engine onwards. It has, yes, it has disrupted or destroyed certain jobs, but then it has also created new jobs. The question is, would AI do that? And would AI continue doing that? Right? That's a question only time can answer. And but all we can do, we have visibility probably for a very. I mean, probably we can't say something very definitively what will happen in the next 10 years. But then let's say we're speaking about the immediate future. Yes, coding automation is one trend that is definitely catching up. There are two sides to it. Can it increase the productivity of a developer? Yes. Does it mean it can totally replace a developer? At least right now it doesn't. Vibe coding alone cannot solve problems on a sustainable manner. It's probably easier to probably create the first version of the code, but then to keep updating it, it's slightly more difficult. But models will get better over time, right? So the right way to approach it, if you are entering the market, is you should look at yourselves as a problem solver, and not think of you as a programmer, because a programmer is something that could be automated, if not fully, if fully now in the near future. But if you are a problem solver using AI, you're trying to solve problems. You're not just trying to code there. You understand the business problem, but you're trying to solve it, and AI is a tool for you. Then there is always a need for it there.
It's quite scary, but it's good to know about these topics. So continuing on the same, as the AI is developing from generative AI, agentic AI, and so on. So how do we need to adopt and to use it in our daily lives?
Yeah. So imagination. I mean, it's your. You can make it do what you want to do, right? So it's only your imagination is the limit to this when it comes to daily life application of AI. So in my home, how we use AI is we are now trying to see whether we can even buy vegetables using an agentic browser. Compare different places like Swiggy, Zomato, everywhere, and see, okay, so where is this grocery cheaper? That used to be a manual thing. So can we have a browser-based agent go through everything and then try to suggest to us, right? So there are some interesting use cases. And for gardening, we are trying something, taking a picture and then have AI suggest. So these are all things that we are doing even from an household level at a daily, from a daily life perspective. Yes, from a job perspective, yes, right. There are so many use cases for AI that you can use a GitHub Copilot, you can use a Microsoft Copilot, you can use AI to summarize information from a meeting. So I think the use cases are only exploding as the capabilities are increasing. So it is a matter of our imagination of how we want to use AI in daily life. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, it's delightful information that how AI uses the analytics of data, like what we are using daily and how it is adapting to our needs.
Yes, yes, it is.
And like coming to like your personal thing, what is the greatest achievement you have and how do proud of saying?
Uh, so the greatest achievement that I would think that I've done is there are some of the very talented. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the most talented and amazing people, and some of them are leaders, some of them are developers who build stuff and all that. And here's what my greatest achievement is. If I call them and I want to work with them, they take my call seriously and they would collaborate with me, right? So that person may not be working with me anymore, might have been in a different organization, or might be moving to a new organization, right? So that person I may not have even spoken for more than 5 years. So that is the part of my career that I think is my biggest achievement. That some of the best people are willing to work with me and willing to collaborate with me.
It's great, inspiring achievements. So, continuing the next question, what are the key ingredients for building successful and governed platform and the using AI tools?
Just to understand that question.
So, like, what are the key ingredients for building the successful platform using AI?
Okay. So it again depends on what kind of platform we want to do, right? So so let's say we are targeting using AI, we are trying to automate something, right? So I mean, this doesn't change for as with any business product, right? So you learn customer segmentation in marketing, right? So and then targeting and positioning of the product to that particular customer. Same goes with the AI platform or AI product as well. So what is the primary purpose of the platform itself, right? Whom does it serve? Who's the end user, or who's the customer, or who's the how is that going to be used? And are we building that with that in mind, right? So does it actually solve that problem for that person, or is the problem even worth solving? So that I think is the larger management question: why platforms can succeed or fail. Okay. Then from a technical standpoint, it is about the architecture. Are we taking the right technology decisions, right? So are we buying some of those ingredients, or are we going to build those ingredients ourselves? So there is a build versus buy decision that is involved here, and these are some of the aspects that need to be taken care from technical architecture standpoint, technology decision standpoint, and overall, is this product or platform even worth building in the first place?
Yes, it's good, sir. The next question is, what is the biggest challenge when organization is upgrading to AI?
The biggest challenge would be from a change management standpoint, from an organizational change standpoint. Will people adopt it? Right. So let's say we are doing a digital transformation. There needs to be clarity of thought on: is it going to augment people or is it going to replace people? So there will always be this mindset that if nobody will want to train an AI model if that person knows that the model is going to replace him or her in the future, right? So how do you actually, first of all, we need to have an honest conversation as an organization, how the role of the human is evolving as more of a collaborator with AI, and how we also see AI not as a replacement but more as a collaborator. So that aspect I think is the hardest thing for organizations to adopt. The technology part of it or the design part of it is something that is much more easier to conquer.
Okay, it's good. It's like a quite interesting challenges like what the company faces while adapting to AI in the form of transformation.
Sure.
Yeah, the next question is as a brain collaborator, who are the tech leaders or inspiring leaders who you want to work with or collaborate with?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it is a dream for me. I'm already working with a leader whom I really admire and look up to most. Her name is Bindu Sunil. So she is one of the most amazing visionary leaders that I have met with. So in a leader, what you see is whether that person has that vision, especially in a fast changing. The technology itself is changing every day, right? Something new is happening every day, and the diffusion of this technology was also rapidly fast. For example, ChatGPT, the time that it got million users was much more faster than anything that was there previously. So you need a leader who can understand the changing dynamics of it, who can understand the limitations of the technology as well, and then have a vision grounded on reality. It is not just that the LLMs have to be grounded; it is also that leaders have to be grounded on reality. So that is a quality that the leader has to have. The second thing is also there should also be tolerance of failure. So not every POC will work, as we were speaking, especially in an emerging technology like this. A leader has to have that understanding and keep the team motivated. And sometimes we may not get the support of business sponsors as much as we would have liked. So how do you keep the lights on and keep the team motivated as we continue to build products? That is what I look up to in a leader, and that's the kind of person that I'm fortunate to work with. And yeah.
Yeah, as you had mentioned, how the leadership skills need to be, how to need to guide the people. So on the same question, like how do you manage the team as the AI is developing? So like how do you manage and also make the persons of your team to focus on the work using AI tools?
Yeah, sure. So sometimes the version one of that AI tool itself may not be great. So we have had situations where we introduce something for coding or automated coding, and then we ask our developers to use it, and then they use it, and then when they use it, it's not that great. But then 2 months down the line, it can become great, right? But they have already made their opinion about it, and also they're also wondering what is going on with automation. Is the entire coding going to be replaced? So we have an honest conversation with them to make them understand that they are not replaceable with just a coding tool. They are much more beyond that. They are capable of that, and how their role itself is evolving into a problem solver where you take the business problem and then you try to come up with a solution, and then you use coding for yourself to make yourself much more productive. Right. So I see a huge change in terms of, and that's something applicable not only for developers, right? So let's say as an MBA professional, you are making a presentation. Previously, like Professor was saying today morning, right? The presentation used to be a great skill, but then now AI can do the presentation itself, right? So now it is not about the beauty of the presentation, or it's not about the fact that you're able to create the presentation. It's about what additional insight that you can bring in, right? Based on all the data that AI has provided. So that should be the focus of the human right now.
Yeah, the content and maybe how we presented the
Yes.
presentation. Making the presentation is not a bad thing.
Correct.
So moving to the rapid fire questions.
Sure.
With your permission, I will be starting.
Please.
So the first question: what is the one word that describes your leadership skills?
Uh, Different for different situations. Not in one word, I'm sorry, but then yeah.
So can you explain one example?
Yeah, so there will be scenarios where you might have to delegate. There will be scenarios where you might have to face those challenges head on, and not let somebody else take the heat for it. So and also to motivate people, sometimes you might have to wear different hats. It's like choosing the best goal back for that situation, right? So based on the situation, I think a leadership style also has to like dynamically shift and change based on what the situation demands.
The next question: what's your favorite AI tool as of currently?
It keeps changing, but right now, agentic process.
Mhm. So coming cloud or edge, which expertise which existing you more and why?
Edge excites me more because of the constraints what Edge brings in. You can't do cloud as comparatively lot more compute and all that. Edge has got very limited environment. How do you actually run an AI model in that limited environment is a challenge that excites me.
Okay. If you are not working on AI, so what is the other kind of domain which you would like to?
I would have liked to write screenplays for movies, but that is also a field that AI is now threatening. So yeah.
Okay. So what is your recent podcast or else book you recently watched or read?
Uh, the Lex Friedman podcast, especially with the CEO of NVIDIA, was quite stimulating, and that's something that I really enjoyed watching. Yeah.
So what is the recent book you had?
I'm reading a book about mathematics itself in AI. So that's a book that I'm hoping to complete soon. So
Okay. So most valuable lesson learned from your failure.
I'm still learning, and sometimes you don't know whether something has failed or succeeded also. So probably uh, how do you keep people motivated when some of those proof of concepts fail, right? So that's a lesson I'm still trying to learn. I wouldn't say I've learned it though.
Yeah, it's quite interesting and challenging topic.
It is.
So the next question: what is your hidden talent or hobbies outside your work?
Uh, I play chess a bit. I'm not a. I wouldn't say I'm a talent in that. These are just things that I'm not good at, but then I like doing that, and I like watching movies. So just the normal boring stuff. Nothing interesting.
Yeah, got it. So, what is the most exciting AI trends you most excited on?
That also once again keeps changing. So when I was focusing on edge AI techniques to how do you actually make models smaller and run them like quantization, distillation, those were things that I was very excited on. And right now, is there anything that is going to come beyond these current set of auto-regressive models itself? Is there a new way of doing other than transformers itself? Is a field that I'm closely watching.
So, sir, it is our privilege exploring your leadership skills, your leadership journey, digital transformation accounts, and forward looking insights. So, before we conclude, I would just ask you one more final question.
Sure.
What is your final message, advice that you would be giving young generation persons or else MBA persons to adopt to the AI for the future roles?
Yeah, so if you look at those reasons why some of those AI projects fail, I was alluding to how lessons what you're learning in MBA could actually be useful in that, right? And that as AI is just that role of an MBA is still the same, right? So how can you actually build a product or sell a product in a manner that yields those business outcomes and results? That is still very much a challenge for AI as well, right? So without getting carried away by all the buzzwords and jargon that AI brings, right? None of those principles have changed. For example, Porter's five forces still apply to even to AI as well, right? So that has not changed. So my message to you is use AI as a tool, and probably it will make you a better management professional. But then the what you're learning or what we used to learn as management professionals, that is still very much relevant for AI as well in terms of deciding what succeeds and what fails.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thanks our audience for listening.
Thank you.